Welcome to the first episode of our adventure through Egypt with Two Around the World. Today, we're heading into none other than the Great Pyramid of Cheops. We're gonna walk through its passages, feel its history, and reach the very heart of this world wonder, the burial chamber. An experience that will truly amaze you. And this is just the beginning. We'll also visit the other impressive Pyramids of Giza and, of course, the imposing and intriguing Great Sphinx. Subscribe and join us on this incredible journey through ancient Egypt. Let's get started.
We've had breakfast, and now it's time for a trip to the Giza pyramids. If the day were clearer, you could see them. The three pyramids are back there. But since the day has so much haze and pollution, contamination, you can barely see them. This is gonna be our tour van. Giza Pyramids Expedition. Here we go. So yeah, the city in the background is Giza, and the amount of people here is incredible. So many people. Right here behind me, we have the Great Pyramid, which is the one we're going to visit now. You enter and exit through the same place, and if you're claustrophobic, don't go in because it's a bit small and overwhelming. People are coming down super overwhelmed. So how is it? In the final moment, it's one suggestion, let people out because there was more. Now, you'll find that the very first step is quite narrow, meaning there is absolutely no room for two people to pass each other safely. Because of this tight squeeze, you really should ask Otto if they wouldn't mind pausing for a moment to let you step back in, just to make sure everyone can navigate the area without any trouble. Please, let the people out. You can see they're coming out completely overwhelmed and they're all sweating profusely. Like I said, if you have claustrophobia, don't come because many people, and I don't know, never. There's so many people. Very crazy. This is just insane. Let's see if we can go up if people stop coming down, but apparently there are so many people up there. Let's go, Vito. What? Well, we entered through the passage that was made clandestinely until we reached the original passage, which we think is this one. Yeah, I want to get my compass. Yeah, I want my compass. Going down is harder than going up. Oh, really? Yeah, I hit my head twice going down. So stay low. You watch your step. Everybody's going up. Oh, everybody's up. Oh, there's no space there. Oh, calm down. Great. The problem is that the area for going down and up is so narrow that we can't go up. And here we are in this bottleneck. And I'm saying if you feel claustrophobic, don't come because it's very overwhelming. I imagine that many people must have been left behind, unable to escape the feeling of distress. Take the chance to go up now. The good thing is they put a piece of wood here so you can support your feet and go up well without problems, so to speak, until they hit your butt, and we'll see how it goes. Go, go, go. My goodness, what madness! My goodness. What a crazy construction. The real problem here is that there's absolutely no one around to control this descent. It's a drop of about 50 meters, and unfortunately, there's no one stationed at the bottom to let one person go up while another comes down. Because of that, we all just end up meeting in the middle, which is a bit crazy, honestly. But, you know, oh well, I suppose it actually makes the whole experience a lot more fun that way. This construction project is absolutely insane. I honestly cannot believe how they managed to pull this off. How could they have built this? It's something that's hard to explain. In 30 years, even if 100,000 people were working, managing 100,000 people. Very, very, very complicated. It is honestly really hard to believe, especially when you see the sheer size of these massive rocks. And also the absolute perfection of the entire construction process. Will we believe in it? Yes. Was it difficult for us historic? Impressed. How crazy. Man, how dangerous. Wait, I'm sorry. Could you just hold on a second? I think I might have completely missed that last part. What exactly did he just say? Could you please repeat that for me? Because I'm not sure I caught it. It's Brady. We're almost at the top now. We're almost 5 meters away from arriving. And we're starting a new tunnel. Here we go. Wait, actually, don't go. Please don't go just yet. I'm still here, just waiting for you to make up your mind.
Okay.
Let's go that way. This is how people go down. And now, after our long journey, we finally reached the ancient sarcophagus. It is truly a remarkable sight. No way. You see? Well, this granite sarcophagus, they haven't been able to get it out because the sarcophagus is larger than the main entrance, and that's why it's here, which leads to the belief that it was already here before. before the Great Pyramid was built over it. So anyway, it's time to head back the way we came. It's extremely hot in here, but it's spectacular. Here, it's every man for himself. I mean, it's you or no one. So think of yourself, because others won't think of you. Let's take advantage of this little gap now, man, and start heading down. Now I'm all alone with, like I said, it's every man for himself.
Hey, wait for me a second. I'm going to...
All right, I think it is finally time for us to get moving, so let's go ahead and start heading down the path. We still have quite a bit of ground to cover before the day is done, and I want to make sure we get there while we have plenty of daylight left. Everyone gets down however they can. One backwards, another forwards.
Backwards is better. Backwards is better. Backwards is better.
You're going backwards better than them. No.
There's the same lack of control as in Cairo. Everything is out of control. There could be a light at the top and another at the bottom, just to control the flow of people, because this is crazy. What madness. Until tomorrow. You're welcome. It is just that this whole thing is absolutely crazy. No way.
If they did that in Spain, they would shut the place down.
That is just claustrophobic to me. You do not gain anything. Look, it is a gamble. No hard feelings, kid. Fear. People are waiting to go up by now. So crazy. We just experienced it. We came out of the experience so close. Suddenly. Huh? Look at her. She is absolutely amazing. Some people go overboard and it ruins the mood. We are out of the Great Pyramid. Actually, like Joseph says, it is inhuman. Impossible. In Spain, the whole operation would be more than closed down. No ventilation or anything. That man who was up there 7 hours every day working with that? Inhuman, to be honest. When the pyramid was finished, it was covered with this type of stone. smooth on the outside, and that is how they covered the whole thing to the top. The stone was looted and they took it away to build things in the city. But in ancient times, the pyramids were smooth all the way up. Impressive. Yes, nowadays it would be very complicated to build it. People see it and it is just incredible. At this point, right here is where the pyramid started. The base of the pyramid, and then it goes all the way to the top. This hole right here was made, Khufu made it to bury his mother. This large hole that you see here was used later on to lower the sarcophagus. The question is, how did they lower the sarcophagus down there? Well, history says they didn't use ropes, but instead they dig the hole, fill the hole with sand all the way to the top, place the sarcophagus on top of the sand, and then they gradually remove the sand, and as they remove the sand, the sarcophagus would lower. Once it was at the bottom, they just drag it to where they wanted to place the sarcophagus. Here we can see 1, 2, and 3 ancient pyramids that are already almost completely destroyed or left in ruins. These specific structures were actually the final resting places where the royal princesses were buried so many centuries ago. What we can see here now in this very large gap that we have here next to the pyramid, this whole gap, well, in this gap, they buried the pharaoh's boat, disassembled. This was done because it was widely believed that once the boat was carefully buried right next to the Great Pyramid, the pharaoh would be able to use it in his eternal afterlife. The long and fascinating history of these ancient people is truly spectacular to behold. And if you look, there's another boat that is still a bit further away in the distance. We're going to head over there now, and it is currently being carefully studied by archaeologists to help us learn so much more about that fascinating era of history. Here we can see the 3 pyramids, the Pyramid of Khufu, the Pyramid of Khafre, and the Pyramid of Menkaure Matra. Watch the video. Is Freddy there? Is Freddy there? Freddy. Here we can see one of the small pyramids where the last part of the rock is, and it's hard to believe this kind of smooth cut in 2800 BC. How could it be done? But there it is, the enigmas of the Great Pyramid. The entrance here is actually a bit wider than the previous one we saw, the one leading to Khufu's sarcophagus, but there is significantly more dirt and debris scattered about, and you can clearly see a rather dark and narrow passage ahead. A little pollution in the air, and it's a bit hard to breathe. The sarcophagus is much bigger than this one. Curious, right? Much bigger. We only entered through that small hole, and this is the sarcophagus, and this is the sarcophagus lid. So all of this was made in here because obviously it doesn't fit through the holes. Spectacular. Here we reach the viewpoint where we can see the three pyramids and consider this vast arid landscape, the legendary Sahara Desert, which stretches across the entire breadth of Africa and reaches all the way to Morocco. It is truly a spectacular and awe-inspiring sight to behold, the largest desert in the world. In the background, the city of Giza. And now we're going to see the Sphinx, about which there are many theories, as with the other dates.
The official person, friends, this Sphinx here is the only Sphinx that is here. Another version says there was another Sphinx, but that other Sphinx was destroyed. It hasn't been found to this day. Some people say that maybe there was another Sphinx next to the Sphinx here, because the ancient Egyptians always made the entrances to things symmetrical. At the entrance, there are two identical things, like large obelisks, one for the Sphinx and the other. That's why some people say there was another one, but the other one was destroyed. But currently, this Sphinx stands here alone in general. The thing is, friends, this Sphinx here is the largest in all of Egypt. And this Sphinx, friends, is the largest. Because, friends, in total, the Sphinx here is 15 meters high by 57 meters long. The whole Sphinx, friends, from the lion's paw to the lion's tail, is 57 meters long by 15 meters high. That's why it's the largest in all of Egypt. Also, friends, this Sphinx here is made from a single rock. And why is it a single rock? Friends, before, in the place of the Sphinx here, there was a limestone quarry where they took stones to build the pyramids. After taking the stones from that quarry, a large rock remained. That's why they carved this rock to make the statue of the Sphinx. That's why it's a single rock. And here, friends, the Sphinx here has the body of a lion and a human head. It has a lion's body, friends, to represent the physical strength of the lion, and the human head to represent the mental strength of man. And so the statue has both strengths for the protection of the place, to protect the place well, because the main function of the Sphinx here was as the protector or guardian of the place. The nose was destroyed in the Middle Ages, friends, around the year 1360. In the Middle Ages, it was destroyed, friends, by a local Muslim man who lived near this area. And that Muslim man destroyed the nose. Friends, at that time, the local people of that area in the Middle Ages were ignorant people. They were superstitious people and believed a lot in the magic of the Sphinx. At that time, they thought that the Sphinx had a magical power. The Sphinx could help them in their lives. So, from time to time, the ignorant people of the Middle Ages wrote their petitions or their wishes on pieces of paper and left those papers in the Sphinx's nose or in some cracks in the Sphinx's body. And that man in the Middle Ages wanted to convince people that this Sphinx doesn't harm anyone, it doesn't benefit anyone. He wanted to convince them that the Sphinx is a piece of stone. It has no magical power. That's why he himself called all the people in front of the Sphinx, and in front of them, he destroyed the Sphinx's nose to show them that this statue's just stone. It doesn't harm anyone. And that story of the man who destroyed the nose is mentioned in many books from the Middle Ages.
There it is, the official version told by the guide, Saqqara. There are many versions about what happened to the Sphinx, what happened to the nose. There's a lot of history and there's a lot of mysticism. This is the official view of an Egyptian historian. And if you look on YouTube, there are so many stories about how the nose was broken, why the nose was broken, how many times this was covered in sand. Well, like everything here, it's a mystery, and there are 1,000 conspiracies. Anyway, let's just enjoy it. The magnitude of these granite blocks. It's a single stone. Those columns. How do you put those columns here? It's crazy. It makes no sense. Look at these blocks. Tons and tons of weight to put here. They're perfectly placed. So perfectly polished. It's crazy. There's no explanation. No one can explain how this could be done because human strength cannot lift a stone of this size. And how the cut was made. There are things that are incredible.
The other way, in the third row, with the corners like this, they can support the temple roof well. In the past, the temple was roofed or something like that, and the roof was made of larger blocks. That's why, to support it well, they made the corners like this, because the weakest part of the wall is always the corner. So to fit well between the walls or between the cornerstones, it stays like this.
Let's go, let's go. Let's go. That's it for our first day in Cairo, visiting the Giza Pyramids and the Sphinx. Did you know that the Great Pyramid is the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world that still exists? Its dimensions are surprising. In fact, it was the tallest structure in the world for 3,800 years and weighs more than 6 million tons. Its eastern side is 14.1 centimeters longer than the western one, an accuracy that for the time is impressive to say the least. Inside the pyramid, the temperature stays at 20 degrees, regardless of the outside weather. On the other hand, the origin of the Sphinx is uncertain, although it is generally attributed to Pharaoh Khafre in 2500 BC. Some believe it may date back as far as 7,000 or 9,000 years BC. There are no written records of its construction, which fuels theories about its purpose and builder. What is true is that we've only been in Cairo for a day, and we're fascinated by what we see, but above all, nothing makes sense. So much magic and so much mystery is held within Egypt. Don't miss our next video, 2 around the world. Subscribe.